Hello, today video is about light animation in IBS Paint X. So in this video, I'm going to create this animation in the tab IBS Paint X. So here, I'm going to use the 1:1 ratio animation canvas for creating this animation. Here, this is the first frame, and there are, we can use so many layers in the first frame alone. In the same way, for each frame, we can use the layers. So when I'm in the first frame, so I can create so many layers here. In For the background, I'm using this something like maroon color. And in the next first layer, I'm going to create some gradient look using the airbrush trapezoid 40%. So yeah, at the bottom it's going to be very light color and gradually shading so that create that gradient look. And in the next layer, I'm going to create the buildings. Only we can see the darkest building details. So like that. For that, I'm using that brush. I'll mention the brush details at the top of the video. So check out whenever I use the new brush. So I'll mention the brush details at the top. So in the new layer, I'm going to draw this circle. So for drawing the circle to get the perfect circle at the center, I'm using this kaleidoscope ruler. Keep that at 4 division, and we not going to use it for the sake of creating something like a mandala. Instead, to create the circle perfectly at the center. So like this. So again on another circle. Now I'm going to do some process here. So keep looking very carefully. I just duplicated this layer, and in the top bottom layer I'm filling that circle border with color, and again duplicating that layer I'm going to fill with the same color at the center as well. Now I want to change the color of this circle, so I'm using the laser fill tool and keeping the layer at the envelope and changing the color. So now when I switch on the visibility of all layer, it looks like this. And also at the top layer where we have only the border, I'm just changing color into darker shade. Now I just switched on the kaleidoscope ruler. So for getting this look, I did all this process. So I'm renaming this layer one by one. So border 1, border 2, and this as circle. So just for the clarification, if we get confused. Now duplicate this layer. I'm going to create the 3D look. So I'm using the extrude parallel filter from style filter. So adjust the detail parameters like this to get that highlight and shadow in this way. Now, yeah, we got that 3D banner like details. Now for the circle at the top, I'm just using the clipping layer to add some shadow details. So at the top, it's going to be dark, and at the bottom, it's going to be bright, lighter color. So like this, I'm using the airbrush to set 40 percentage. Now I'm going to add the detail like this. So just to add some extra details to this. Now change this blending mode as overlay. You can try all other blending mode, and I tried and I got this better result with the overlay blending mode. Now I'm going to create another clipping layer with add blending mode where I can add the light highlight details. So like this. Trying all other blending mode as well, and I ended up with a hard light blending mode that works better than the light add blending mode. Now Here, above the 3D circle layer, I'm just going to draw the the stem, what you call it. We can call it as a stand for that banner. So yeah, I'm just using the line tool, and now switch on the alpha lock and add the shadow, color details. Yeah, alpha lock, and then add the other shades. You can do this in two way, add everything on the single layer just by switching on the alpha lock. Otherwise, you can go for multiple layers, one for the linear blending mode for the shadow, and add blending mode layer for the highlight. Otherwise, you can do all this in a single layer if you are not going to change the details on the future. So now we got this. I'm going to add details in this area. So go to this border 2 layer, create a clipping layer for this. So before that, choose the color. So yeah, I'm going to add the shadow details for this in the own layer. So like this. These are very mild details, minute details that add some realism to the artwork. So you can do this thing without these details as well, but adding these minute details like shadow, lights in particular area, some angle, some proportion gives extra perfection to your art. So try this. So here on the this way, I'm adding the details. Now I just created a clipping layer with add blending mode. I am going to add the brighter details on the other side of that dark detail like this. So actually I'm not the expert in this um, light highlight right now, but I'm trying my best to create perfection as much as possible. Yeah, now it is ready. Now I'm on the border one layer. I just switched on the alpha lock and adding the darker details at the center like this and lighter details like this. So after adding these shadow light details to the border two layer, you can find the difference in the way it looks. It looks like the border two details or inside. The border one is like a metallic detail that is popping out of that metallic surface. So this create such a look. So for that, we all did is just using the shadow on highlight details. It make much difference when you add such details. Okay, now I added some details to the border one layer. Now I'm going to use the dotted line round at the center of these two lines. So I just created a new line, new layer, and here I'm going to use, here I just create a new layer, and I'm going to use the circular ruler and keeping at the center of the kaleidoscope reel, making sure the circle is at the center. That's why I used the kaleidoscope ruler. And once I switched off the kaleidoscope ruler and drawing the circle with the help of a circular ruler and a dotted line round brush. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer to create the light glowing details. So I'm just renaming this layer, duplicated layer as glow. And now I'll also change the blending mode to add. And here I'm going to use the blur filter. I'm going with the moving blur to create some direction oriented blurry lights with lots of glowing around that circle. Yeah, to create that look. It's up to you how much blur you want, but after doing this we're going to erase while we doing the animation process. So I didn't use too much blur because the blur details will blend with each other from between the circles, so I didn't use too much blur. Now at the top of all these I'm using the text S, like this. Just rasterize just by clicking the filter tool. Now alpha lock, and I'm going to use the airbrush trapezoid 40% to create some 3D look. We can call it as 3D look, or just adding the shading to the text, like darker shades at the corner and lighter shades at the center of the text, like this. Now adding some lighter details here. Yeah, we got a shiny as text. Also, if you want, you can add use in a airbrush particle brush. It gives some good texture to your artwork. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer, switch off the alpha lock, go for style, and use some exclude parallel filter to create a 3ds. Yeah, like this. This minor details we adding to our artwork. Now here I'm going to add some details for some layers. You can see. So I'm going to use this. So these are the layers mainly used for our animation. So I'm going to make sure I rename these layers. So here neon lines, and for the light settings I'm going to create separate folders like this. The circle details all in a folder and light in a separate folder. Now above the circle, I'm going to create a layer shine clipping layer. Now for this text also, I'm going to create reflection layer. So now I'm not going to do anything particularly for this frame. So I'm just going to create the animation layers that I need. So for each frame I'm going to do and add the those details. So here you can see for light reflection I'm just creating another layer. Now I just created all these things. What else we need? I'm adding some more darkness at the background, so that because our front detail is going to glow up, and adding darker details at the background gives some extra boost to that glow. So for that I done this. Now my first frame is ready. I just created all the animation layers, kept it empty. Now I just duplicated this layer 2 times. This is my first frame, and here if you want to switch on the onion skin to 2 and click it. Now in the first layer I'm keeping all these lights as same as it is. Then go to this circle uh, layer, and in the shine layer that we have created for the animation, add a glow like this. Make sure you change the blending mode of this layer to add or something like that. Like this, we're going to add the shine details in particularly in one angle. The next frame we're going to change the angle. So in this frame I'm keeping in this line angle diagonally. Now go to the second frame, go to the shine layer, make sure you change the blending mode to add. Here we have this in this angle. Now in the second frame I'm adding the details like this. Now you can see it is like the circle is rotating, and the shiny details gives such a appearance. Now go to the third frame and do same as like that. So now here you can see, so in the light reflection layer in the first frame, adding such a detail at the same angle of that shine details that we have created. So my words may be the way I talk may be confusing to you. So keep listening to the watching to the video very carefully so that you can understand better. So sometimes I confuse. Um, so here the first layer I'm going to add the neon one add brush details. So this is at the neon layer that we have created at the top of all. So I'm giving some space between each stroke so that in the next frame I'm going to fill that space with that brush to create a moving light, serial light like look. In the second frame, same, make sure where the gap comes, go to the neon layer, and here there comes the gap, so I'm going to fill that gap line now here. So in the same way, just go back to that frame and make sure where the line you created, and in the new frame add in the gap like this. So in the same way we're going to do for the third frame as well. Go to the neon layer, add details like this, go back to your second frame, check where you have the line, and also make sure where the line is on the first frame. You have to not copy the first frame details, so make sure you didn't copy so that the animation, the flow, there will be a proper flow without any same details at the same place. Don't get that problem. So now, yeah, we have done perfectly. Now just go to this light folder, duplicate this folder. Now hide this folder and merge the layers in that. No, you don't need that folder. Delete that. Now keep this and be that be on that layer. And here we're going to keep all the lights as it is in the first frame and go to the second frame layer, I mean second frame, and do the same grouping process, merging process. Then erase the alternate lights like this. Make sure I started at the center from the, I just erased from the center point. So in the next frame, doing the same process, merge the layers, and I'm on this light layer now. I'm going to keep that center point, then erase the next one. So in the same way, I'm just erasing the alternate, and now it looks like blinking lights. So this is how we get the blinking lights. Yeah, looks good. It's look like the serial light is glowing in a blinking way. Also, the circle is, it is moving in circular motion so that we get the shine. So also I'm going to add one more layer at the top and add this light details. I'm using the kaleidoscope ruler and airbrush. I'm keeping this add layer as in the air blending mode. Now in the same way, check where you have done the light lines in the first layer, and you should not have the lines in the same place at the second frame. So that's how we create the moving line. So in this, we create a clockwise like rotation. Now, Yeah. Now switch off this kaleidoscope roller. Now it looks perfect. Now the number of frames are very less to create at least 2-second animation. So I'm going to duplicate these layers one by one and move that 1, 2, 3 frames next to the third frame. Then again duplicate 1, 2, 3 all these 3 frames and move to the last, so that we get the order like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. So in the same way you can create 3 or 4 sets as well, so that to get a minimum length of animation. So now save this. Just click that arrow, you get the option like save animated video. Keep that play option as ping pang, and also change the frame and check out which looks better. So here for the first thing, I'm just, you can see if you increase the frames per second it will move very fast. So here I'm keeping the frames per second as 6 and I'm going to save. I'll show the difference between the 6 frames and 20 frames per second. So this is 6 frames per second. Now go to the save animation, keep this in 20 frame, keep this in ping pang, click OK, and now it is saved. If you go back to the video, now here you can see this is 20 frame per second. It is very fast, and this is 6 frame per second. So this 6 frame per second works well for us. Yeah, so I'm keeping this. Now play again. Yeah, we have created a beautiful animation in the app IBIS Paint X in our Android tablet. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel.